Indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and holy friends. I am eternally grateful that you're sharing the space with me today, that you're in this moment with me, that you can walk this road, build with it, with me. I appreciate you. Dan, Brother Bear, it's so nice to have you here. Good morning. Look at this view today, dude. Look at those clouds. Goodness, it looks surreal, looks unreal. Is this real life? Yes. Kira Burb, thank you for the love. So much right back to you, sending you even more healing vibes. Oh, things to do before going into a relationship. But there are always active things you should keep doing in relationships, both with yourself and your partner. Beautiful points. Melina, like I guess I can share where my perspective is coming from today. It's coming from this realization, this question, this understanding, I guess, that there are a certain set of things that needs to happen within ourselves, especially so when it comes to the path we believe we want to be walking our lives, right? And unfortunately, in the world we find ourselves in, it can be very difficult to do that. It can be difficult to find some sort of stability, some sort of certainty in, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is going to lead to this, and then after that thing leads to the other thing, then that's going to happen. And our path, our goals, our understanding of our future and where we're supposed to be going is kind of in our minds set out, if you have that, right? And what happens a lot, is that we get into relationships, and then these paths that we have planned out for our lives either have to completely shift because there's now another person involved, or it has to continue, and the other person might feel some sort of lack there if they don't have the same direction that they're going in, or if they have a direction they're going in and it's the other direction. So today's message, today's feeling comes from this attempt to try and understand ourselves, understand the paths that we're walking, and in that context, understand how we can go into our relationships to walk a path together. Because what happens a lot of the time is that we don't know what our path is supposed to be, and then we try and practice some level of control. And we believe that what is in our control is the ability to find a mate, and then we try and do that, and we believe that gives us control, but no, it just makes the path even more, let's say, obscure. I don't want to say anything else. Hey, thank you for all the tags. Saint Pariah is joining us as well. Brother Bear, I've been seeing you on the streams, dude. It's so nice to see you put yourself out there. Your hair is gorgeous, for what it's worth. your little snoo actually has a quite similar haircut. Hey, TJ, Full General, of course. Hey, Tahoe, good morning to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. I'm curious about you, like your relationship. Like, you moved to a whole new place, to Tahoe, with your significant other. When you started to date one another, when you got into this relationship initially, did you have the same directive? Did you have the same direction? Do you know in some capacity that you wanted to end up in the same place? You wanted to walk the same road? I'm curious. Jenny, ninja, so much love here. Okay, before I read more comments, I need to start with Melita's. I'm going to write something down as an intention. The road? Is the road the intention? No. Knowledge of the road? The map? Maybe map. Whatever a map means. You know, I think maybe that's it. Maybe the plural, maps. Maps. Maps of mind. To manifest momentous relationships. Momentous mutual meandering. Oh my. Oh, I really like how one of my partners says I love you and all of your derivations, even when I don't like where you're currently at. Derivations here implying the direction that I'm heading towards. Okay. And all of your derivations, even when I don't like where you're currently at. That is an interesting thing to say to someone, Melina. Is it said in the context of trying to encourage you to grow? I really like how one of my partners says. So I don't really think the direction needs to be aligned, but the support needs to be there. No, I'm not saying the direction needs to be aligned. I just feel a lot of us have no direction. And then we get into relationships believing that's going to give us direction when it's not the case. That's what I want to touch on. You know, and how we have to do certain things for ourselves, allow certain things within ourselves, if we're going to truly allow those things in a relationship. You're making me think, Melina. Thank you. Number one, Ninja answering the question of what do we need to do before we can be in a relationship, says number one, be open to spontaneous situations. Number two, don't go looking too hard. Number three, know what puts you off, know the red flags and how to spot them. Beautiful advice, Ninja. Genuinely beautiful advice, especially the first one. Be open to spontaneity, to spontaneous situations. Yeah. Fortunately, I am. I'm a little bit of an instigator, even Ninja. Sometimes people just want to chillax, and I'm like, want to do something fun? Want to do something spontaneous? And like, no, no. I'm in my pajamas. Leave me alone. Number two, don't look too hard. Absolutely. I'm not looking at all right now, fortunately. And the last one, I feel that is a difficult one to stay aware of always. You know, the red flags. Know what puts you off. You know, and actually listen to that part of yourself. Because that stuff only festers. The longer you try and walk a road that is not yours, if you will. That's beautiful, friend. It is. It really is. Jenny, again, thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's life been treating you? There we go, Heather. Thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you doing? How's your mom? I've been asking. I think I've asked like 3 streams in a row, but I don't think you give me any more information. I don't know if you're not here for me when I ask or something, but I'm curious, my friend. How's your mom doing, Heather? Please change. People change, our directions change, but that doesn't mean the love will get less strong. I don't think so either. I don't think so either, Melita. But I think it's important for us within ourselves to allow ourselves to change, to allow ourselves, you know, to go into different directions and not feel like going in that direction, allowing ourselves to change in that way is going to obscure this person from us. Because if a person starts to be with you only for the direction you want to go in, then that is also going to be a problem. So I appreciate you bringing both perspectives, Melina. Absolutely. My advice in relationships is to dream together. This is good for any relationship. If you had unlimited funds and time, what would you do? If I had unlimited funds and time, Jenny, I would build a city for all of humanity. I'll build it on the ocean. I mean, unlimited funds, right? Build it on the ocean, have it completely renewably operated. No, please! Please, Mrs. Wind. Please. Please, no. Thank you. Unlimited time and resources. Yeah, absolutely. I want to do that. That's a big part of the stuff I want to do. I want to build a city on the ocean. But that's like 50-year-old Melt's, ambition. 20-year-old Melt, I think, wants to travel a little bit first before I start building cities. So it depends. It depends on time as well. It depends on where on this road I am. And that's the trip, Jenny, that we might be at a current or a part of our lives right now that we don't consider our road. It's still our road, but it might not be the part of the road we want to be on right now. The wind is spicy today, and we should also not expect someone else to be on that road. If we are, I think maybe that's something I need to keep myself aware of. My advice in relationships, again, we didn't know right away, but the more we got to know each other, the more it became clear that we could be compatible in the long-term sense. She is also just an amazingly kind heart that I feel amazingly lucky to have. You are Tahoe. You are amazingly lucky, my friend. Genuine love, I don't really think is rare, but it is special every single time. And the reason I say, I'm not trying to be like, oh, Tahoe, you have some basic bitch thing. No, of course not. Like love, that love is always special. But the reason I'm not saying it's rare is because I believe it's out there for all of us. It's out there for all of us. We just have to keep walking our road, and eventually the people that would be able to walk that road with us will come along on the road that we're walking. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Know your road, walk your road, and then everything that road is going to allow will be allowed on that road. I used to believe that people getting into a relationship had to share all or most interests. Now I realize we are individual people with our own experiences that choose to go through this life together, but it is okay to be individuals as well. Thank you so much for saying that, Naomi. I agree completely. The reason I agree right now is from this context of just fascination. Fascination for this other being in your life, what this other being enjoys doing, seeing the joy in this being's heart and eyes when they talk about something, even though it might not be something that you're interested in. Walking the same road with different rhythms, maybe. Different sways. Different break intervals, I guess. Man, the wind. The clouds have been so beautiful today, so I guess the wind helps for that, right? Ninja Nana knows the sicky sweet pea. How's the sicky sweet pea? I hope she's well. Ninja, is one of your kids sick right now? Yes, getting direction from relationships is a very icy road to head into. Oh yes. Oh yes, very much so. Because then suddenly you become almost mutually obligated to this road. And if any one of you doesn't want to walk that particular road anymore, then it feels like a hostage environment of you being stuck on this road, you know. And if you stop walking this road, you're going to unroad this person next to you, and that would be atrocious to do because you love them. You don't want to do that to them. Chaos. Chaos within inside of yourself is the thing, you know. And then we lash out in different ways. We do things to try and escape. We do things to try and feel some sort of power. We do things to feel safe, you know. Instead of addressing that we don't necessarily always know what the road is supposed to be. You know, I feel I know what my road is supposed to be, and then as soon as I say that, you know, a part of myself is like, yeah, you know, but you don't know, do you? You know what you want. You know what you think you want. You know what you think you'll be able to accomplish. And you'll be walking that road. But the things that you will accomplish, the things that you will see, the people that will be put on your road, you know, might not allow, might shift your perspective, might change your direction. And that's okay as well. Thinking about Jovan right now. She says something recently that resonated with me. It's about changing your opinions and your belief systems when confronted with new information. You know, and it's so it sounds so ordinary, so simple, and yet it's something we're very unlikely to do sometimes. We'll cling to something we've believed before, something we've been told, something we've maybe repeated. Usually, if we've repeated it, we're even more likely to believe it or to continue believing it. On that note, something worth saying, something that I believe I could believe without repercussions. The first one that I can see is you cannot imagine that you have not experienced. Whoa, 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 whoa. You cannot imagine what you have not experienced, for imagination is the picturing in the conscious mind. Mind, as we know it, can only picture what is or has been. How about that? You know, and I can believe that, or I can just feel into that. That basically was just like everything you could imagine can or has existed within infinity. Everything, every road, every potential life that you think you should live, could live, it's out there. It might not be this one, but you'll have a chance to live the other one as well. So don't rush. Don't rush. Take some time. Take some time on this road. You know, take some time to see the little flowers next to the road. Take some time to sit down, look at the clouds and the mountains on this road. Maps. Maps is our intention. What is our map? I feel like if I had to draw a map, you know, I would like have like a little stick figure of me, and then I would have in the middle of it a little heart, and that's my map. I'm trying to get to the center where heart resides, you know, and wherever this road takes me, I hope to find love in the end of it. Is the grass fully saturated? Is the grass fully saturated water-wise? We had a spot of rain last night, but I don't think it's fully saturated. I think it can still shuck some water. Heather, raising awareness would be the most unique answer I'd give to today's question. Raising your awareness before you're ready for a relationship. I feel that's a very good point you're making as well, Melida. And I want to make that point in the context of awareness of the other person. Awareness especially of them, you know, as you. If your roles were reversed, if you found yourself in their body, in their mind, do you believe that you getting into a relationship with them would serve them, would be the best thing for them. And I've spent a solid amount of time, Ermias Plur, thinking about that in context of my relationships that I've had. And one of my very first long-term relationship lasted for like 2.5 years, and she ended it because at that point in my life I was an atheist, and she's getting married now. So wasp checking me out. She's getting married now, and I was just thinking to myself that if somehow things worked out in a way, and I've never wanted that to be the case, but if somehow things worked out in the way that we were still together, and she was with me during this time of my life. I don't even believe this time of my life would be a reality if I was still with her, but and then what I'm going to be doing with the next few years of my life, and then the amount of turmoil that's going to create, and the amount of movement that that's going to create, and the amount of time I'm going to be away, if you will. And I was just thinking how horrible of a life experience that would be from her perspective of this person that I love, this person that I want to spend time with, doesn't have time for me right now in his existence, in his life. And now she's getting married, so now she gets to be with a person who can give her that, could give her that time. And awareness is the only way to do that, Melina. To be that aware even beforehand, because what happens a lot with relationships, or at least something that Sensei yesterday said, infatuation. We get infatuated, then we fall in love, then we love one another, right? First is that infatuation, that obsession almost with one another. And because of that obsession, we start to do things like plan. We start to create these realities inside of our minds of how our relationship could be together, how beautiful our kids could be, how wonderful it would be just to, cuddle up and watch a movie, eat some popcorn. And like this stuff instantly fills up all of your mental space of, possibility. Possibility, right? And it can get away from you. So by keeping yourself more aware that this is still a person, that this person might not be seeing the same road, the same reality in their mind that you might be seeing, and that they might not even necessarily want that. It keeps you aware, as you say, Belida. Meltville. Yeah, well, Meltville or Melting Meadows. I've also thought would be a good one. Yo, Melty Fam! Melty Euros, actually. Hello, Mariah. Thank you for joining us. Of course, there's like one spot, again, in the center of where I would be sitting, where the sun is like piercing through a bunch of branches. One spot in that tree that isn't densely populated, yes. Getting blasted. UV blasted. She's getting better. Sleeping better at night and sneezing and coughing less, so it seems like we're on the way out. Just been drinking lemon ginger tea for myself, lol. I'm happy that you're staying healthy and you're taking care of yourself. I'm sure the little one will be good soon. Thank you for giving us a moment to share some love with her as well, Ninja. Yeah, I made sure to try and find myself more better before getting into a serious relationship. I'm still not 100% confident in myself, but enough so that I cannot be codependent in a relationship. That's wonderful news, Tahoe. I'm like the whole you have to find yourself is such a weird thing to say, and instead of trying to explain how you're supposed to do that, instead I'll just tell a story, create a scenario, I think would be the better way to say it. So scenario one, you get into a relationship with someone, and you love this person, you actually do. And in this relationship, you're, like, let's say you're working a normal job, you have weekends together, you get to spend time in the evenings with one another. So all of the free time, if you will, that you would have to reflect is now spent in the context of this other being. That you are pouring your energy, pouring your love, pouring your conscious awareness into. And you spend time going through that relationship like that. That is scenario one. You know, let's say you do that for 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days. And then you stop that relationship and you find yourself alone. And then in scenario two, you never started that relationship and you spend those 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days completely single. And in those 2 years, 2 days, and 2 months, instead of spending so much time with a significant other, you've been spending time on yourself. You've been spending time on the things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you've been spending time on a hobby, something creative that you love doing. Maybe you've been spending time meditating a little bit more. Maybe you've been spending time cooking for yourself. You've been spending time with yourself. So the same amount of progress you can make in a relationship in those 2 years, 2 months, and 2 days, you would be able to make within yourself. Get to know yourself in the same almost level of intimacy that you could get to know another person for those 2 years. Right? So that is the context of getting to know yourself that I want to have people consider. Not this context of you need to know exactly who you are, and if you don't know exactly who you are, you're not worthy of. No. Just allow yourself to spend time with yourself to get to know yourself. Not in a okay, finally, I've walked this road. Here is myself. I know it now. No, it's a constant journey. We're doing it right now, getting to know ourselves in this very moment. Every time you feel something about what's said, every single time you have a thought, every single interpretation you have of, a scenario, a story, a thing worth saying, that's you getting to know yourself. Yes, let's build the Melt City together. We're gonna do it, Melina. We're gonna do it. It's gonna take a few years, but it's gonna happen. In this city, and I have ideas. Obviously, it's gonna be community first. Like the center of the city is going to be a communal space. With entertainment, with places to relax, places to have conversations, places to eat things, places to move, places to dance, and all of it will obviously be free because we're building community. And yes, and if it's community you want, then there shouldn't be any financial barrier because every single person is worthy of community. Hey, you talk about infamous. Well, thank you for the wholesome, my friend. Mm, Sometimes, though, you won't know you have such a relationship triggered insecurity until you are indeed in a relationship. Turns out I have friendship relationship insecurities. Like if your friend has another friend and you hear about that friend spending time with their other friend, that makes you feel insecure. Is that the case? Mariah, please do share. Can we have a community scarf rack? Yes. I was actually thinking about that as well. Like Dan, like they would just be scarves given to people. If someone walks in without a scarf on their head around their necks, just give them one. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's just like you'll see. And then there's just like a bunch of uses for it. Walk into the dancing room and there's just a bunch of people scarf twirling. It's like, oh goodness, what's happening here then? Man, I look forward to it, Dan. I look forward to us being able to be with one another, in a way that we can share each other's presences. We can share smiles. We can be joyous in a, I want to say, immediate way. This is pretty immediate, but I can't see your face, and I would love to. I would love to see your face. Love to see your smile. Nice. That's what they do when you arrive in Hawaii, or so I've heard. Yeah, little flower petals. I love that. It's a sign of a welcoming, uh, an interpretation of love as well. My mom is back. I'll build a city on the ocean with you. Let's create a self-sustaining, ecologically conscious island. I'm like genuinely serious about this. Like this isn't just me like hippie talking. Like I've been thinking about this for years. I have plans in Blender that I've drawn up of these cities. All of them would be, at least this is the way I envision it, like tetrahedron modular buildings, it like singular buildings, and then you can just keep stacking them. You know, you can kind of like tile them, if you will. The more resources there are, the more tiles you add. The more tiles you add, the bigger the city gets. The bigger the city gets, the more people it can support. The more people it can support, the more need there will be for community activities. And you know, my plan is obviously like wave generators, one on the sides, like pulley systems. You know, as tides lifted, generating electricity as well. Obviously, panels of solar panels, and then all excess energy would go back into the ocean as something that cools it down. Like there would be mild shade provided, and we were definitely going to, you know, split water for oxygen and hydrogen. So either we can pump our excess oxygen back into the ocean or into the air, or we can, and I think this might be less practical, use the outside walls of our cities, like the ones inside the water, as cooling systems for the oceans. You know, just like channel excess energy into refrigeration. But that might also be economically or environmentally inefficient to do. Ideas, ideas. Good morning to you, Toasty Malosty. It's nice to have you here, brother Bear. So much love being shared. Yes, exactly. Love isn't this soulmate thing where there's only one person in the world for you. There are so many, many people that every one of us can fall in love with. The idea that love is super rare or once in a lifetime is Hollywood movie lies. Beautiful point, Tahoe. And the fact that you have found your your love, your person that you can be in love with, you know, and still being willing to say that gives me a lot of joy. Because I feel, you know, I'm thinking about Kartha right now. Kartha recently mentioned that he was in a relationship with someone who genuinely loved him, and he pushed her away. He hurt her, and now he feels like, will he ever find that again? Will he ever be worthy of that again? And na 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 na. And it happens to a lot of us, where for some reason we believe that we're not worthy of that real love, or it's so rare that what are the odds of poor little me ever being able to find it? Na 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 na. You're worthy, friends. Believe in yourself. Believe in the possibility. Diana, love you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Hope you and the family are doing so well. Coco Power, cute is here again. Mixed to death as well. Good chat. Unlearning infinity, etc. 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 Hey, mixed to death. Thank you for joining us, friend. How are you feeling? How are you feeling? Well, this one blew my mind a little. There you go, Kira Burb, Rita, Heather, Safer Ride, Homie, Tahoe, Van a Niner, Jet, Uber with a melt. Love all you goobers. Love our Toasty Malosty. Thank you for the love, Brother Bear. Never thought being called a goober would put such a smile on my face. Toasty, sending you love. The sun loves your streams as well. It seems that way. Melita. No matter how hard I try, the sun is gonna find me. It's like, what? Spot that little dude from a few. Is it 120 million miles away? Snipes me. Snipes me all the way. Getting to know yourself with the help of others that love you is so much easier and natural than doing it on your own. That's true. I do not, you know, even want to for a second counter that, because it is true. Interestingly enough, the people that have allowed me to get to know myself the most have been friends, more so than romantic partners. My romantic partners have allowed me to get to know myself. My first romantic partner allowed me to learn how to love myself a little bit more genuinely. My second romantic partner allowed me to see that I don't want to be in a relationship. I wanted to say for a reason. That sounds weird, but I was in a relationship for a reason. You know, I wanted affection. I wanted someone, and that wasn't the right reason to be with someone. And weirdly enough, had these friendships. Like when I ended this relationship with my second romantic partner, and I've only been with two women, I wanted to go out and then, find myself this freedom. And then upon trying to find this freedom, I was like, I don't really want to be in this nightclub. And I was walking outside, and then next to me at a little restaurant, sitting and eating outside, there was Adam. And I was like, dude, I love your hair. He had these locks, gorgeous locks of hair. And I was like, bro, I love your hair. And it was like, thank you. And I'm like, you want to share a blunt with me? He's like, yeah, I do want to share a blunt with you. Smoked the blunt together. We exchanged numbers, and we became friends. And that friend group was in that way all of them, someones who allowed me to be myself by loving me. It opened me up a lot. You're completely right about that, Maria. But I feel if I was in a relationship instead during that time, if I found, for instance, if I found a romantic partner again, instead of finding this friend, I would have probably been a completely different person as well. Probably would have had even more growing to do still. I am. My mom is about 75% better. They hope that she will be back to work by now, but she needs another week. I'm happy to hear she gets to have another week at least, my friend. Thank you for letting me know, Heather. Gives me some calm. Are you Afrikaans? Ek kan Afrikaans wees as jy wil hê ek moet wees. Maar tegnies as ek Afrikaans praat, gaan 'n bietjie moeilik wees vir jou om my te verstaan. Dalk is ek baie stadig praat. Sal jy my... Nee, jy sal nie my nie kan verstaan nie. Ek moet Engels met jou praat. So dalk sal ek. Maybe I will speak English with you. When I first got together with Kurt, I told him I wanted a boyfriend to spend time with me. After a few days, he thought he could not be that. I suggested we just see what happens because it felt like he was undervaluing himself. Together 10 years. I want more context, Jenny. I feel like I was just starting to read the good stuff, Together 10 years. I need to know more. Please do tell us more, Jenny. I'm so happy for you. So thankful for the thoughts and prayers. So thankful to have you here with us, Heather. Thank you. Yes, melting scarf sipping. There we go. I love like we're manifesting this right now. You do realize it, right? Collectively, we are dreaming of something that is possible. It's not impossible. And if it's not impossible and we are collectively dreaming it, then it makes it probable. And if we want to do it, then it makes it likely. And since we're gonna do it, I can guarantee it. Yeah. And if I don't guarantee, if I fail, then maybe next time. Oh, damn. We're going to need to stock up on eye patches if we're all going to get scarf dance. We all have super cool shades as well. The coolest shades. For some reason, my mind goes into these super small shades that cover my eyes. I don't know why. They would be so lame. But this super coolest. Maybe we'll set new fashion trends by the year 2055. But then...
Nope.
Oh!
Adoras.
Dat is niet bitter, dankjewel man. These grapes apparently do not have pits. I wanna give you a size comparison. I feel this is weird. I was talking about my brother leaving gun casings all over the farm. So if you know how big a 9mm cartridge is, the freaking grapes are massive. A pen for the scale. I guess it's a Sharpie. And they have no pits. I'm surprised. I shouldn't be eating grapes right now. We're doing something. My mom just loves me. That's good. Hot take. You don't need to do anything to be in a relationship. If you find someone you're cool with, that's all that matters. Warrior Flight 2222. I don't disagree with you, to be completely honest. But I believe you have to still walk your road, to find that person you're going to be cool with, if you will, right? If you're living your own road in a way where you find yourself in places that you don't necessarily want to be, you're going to be introduced to things you don't necessarily want to be introduced to. So by being more aware of where you take yourself in that.
Nee, ek wil net compare. Dit veel
Wie is die ander?
Nee, dis dieselfde, maar dit groter is die wat ek vir jou gebring het.
Bietjie.
Ja.
Bietjie.
Dis Adoras.
Adoras. Waar kom hulle vandaan?
Van die Annelies.
Is dit nog Grosdal? Okay. Is dit 'n nuwe variant?
Ja, ek het laas al daarvan gehoor.
Our local area is big on grapes, and since my mom is popular, she has friends who has husbands who sell grapes, so we just get grapes, and it sounds great because we get like cartons full of grapes essentially for free, until you are me and you eat so much of it that your body doesn't want to work properly. That's a grape. Damn. Part of my mind, I know what's happening here. That's just genetic modification 101. It's, like in CRISPR coming along now, you just edit a few things and then things grow bigger. So I'm just imagining these grapes, the size of like apples. You think we'll see it? Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Y'all ready for my romantic story of my son's father? Strap in. Ugh. Okay, Heather, I'm here for it. Tahoe says, that's awesome. I have some friends who have built Earthship style buildings for a commune style community and hallucinogenic rebirth camp on an island in Costa Rica. That sounds beautiful, Tahoe. Your friends built the hallucinogenic rebirth camp as well? You should tell me more about that. I'm so curious. Thank you for joining us, Tate. It's nice to have you here about the bay. How are you doing? Hope you're still here. Ninja says, one thing that people need to do in general, but also before getting into a relationship, is to learn how to appreciate our differences, not argue them. Yeah. Even celebrate them. I feel like maybe that's a little bit jarring, but we should celebrate one another's differences. Because if we were all the same, that would be so monotonous so quickly. Okay, here's Heather's story. We met, dated for a year, said he was estranged from his family. Doctors had said I couldn't get pregnant again. They were wrong. Fast forward, I have the baby, and when I'm in the hospital still, his mom shows up with flowers. Cute. And the info, the baby dad, her son, has been married twice and has another child and have other things I had no clue. She knew he was deceitful to women, and I felt like an idiot. Big grapes. The wonderful thought, though, swapping and sharing. I'm so sorry to hear that, Heather. The thing that I'm trying to take away from that is still that you have this beautiful, child in your life that has been there with you, that has taken care of you as much as you have taken care of it as well. Would you undo it? That's the question I really want to ask. This road that you've been taken on, would you want to undo those steps that you've taken? One thing that people need to do. What about one? Ooh, air cool. I don't even know how you manage to send text like that, but I'm strapped in. For everything there is a season, and I get wanting to be prepared for it. I've done things like that. Clean up, both literally and metaphorically. You want to have space for a new person in your life. That said, if you try to change dramatically before meeting someone, they won't get the real you anyways. Also, we don't know how long life is, so embrace imperfection to an extent. Ultimately, it is about balance. Still, if you can do a bit of house cleaning, maybe go and see a dentist, a doctor if you haven't in a while, and refresh your wardrobe a bit, it might make life better and easier in the long run. Oh, and if you have a car, make sure it's in a good working order. Eric, cool. That's, I just ditto. Everything you said is pretty much on point. And I feel that's what we were talking about today as well. I don't know if you were there for when we said it, but one of the things, the conclusions I've come to, if you will, with this question of what do we need to do before we get into a relationship, and alluding to is about the road that we're walking. The road we're walking right now is going to lead us to the people we're going to meet in the future. One of those people might be, the person we want to spend our lives with. And if we don't allow ourselves to live our road, if we don't believe in ourselves enough to follow our paths, then we won't meet these people that could be the ones for us. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Not so much that we need to change in a certain way in order to be worthy of a relationship, but that we need to live our own way so that we may find the right relationships instead. Elf, and you meet. It's nice to have you here, Jenny. I don't know what that means, but thank you, my friend. Sometimes I feel like being in a relationship does challenge my ability to make new friends as easily. Are you encouraged to? Is the question I want to ask, Tahoe. Because it's one thing to be comfortable in your romantic relationship and to spend most of your time with one another because it's almost ordinary, it's almost expected to do so. Are you encouraged by your significant other to go out and make friends? And if not, are you encouraging yourself to go out and make friends? Big grapes, right? There, I'm like blown away. He got afraid that he wouldn't be good enough for me. I said he should just try and see how he felt. Pretty sure now that I am the one not good enough. No, Jenny, don't say that. But we are happy together. We support each other, and I enjoy the life we have made together. I feel like we have to make a space. We have to make space for ourselves and the other person to change. Love is helping each other to be the best person they can be, no matter what the other person decides that looks like. Jenny, it makes me happy to say that, my friend. It makes me happy that you say that, my friend. Like, and the fact that you said that, pretty sure I'm not the one that's not good enough. That I feel is almost like you contradicting yourself a little bit. Like you're of course good enough. Like there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing that you need to be doing more. Allow yourself to see it in that way as well. What you think might be good enough might not look like what is good enough for him. You are good enough, my friend. Please do believe that at least. What it do? No lowly. Goodness. Friend, it's been forever. Where have you been? How's life been treating you? How's the new year been? That's wonderful though, swapping and sharing. I felt like that co-op kind of thing is the way. I agree, Heather. It's open communication. It's what is expected. No discussion needed. Life is short. Fall in love. Fall out of love. We are just a beam of light that will soon extinguish. So, F. Martin, I believe we are the beam of light, but I also believe we share the same source as the sun in that context. So even though this beam of light might eventually perish, when it gets absorbed back into this hole, the original source of that light never will. And you fundamentally, in my belief system, are that source of light. And that love that we can fall into is just this rediscovering of our true essential cores. And we find that in someone else sometimes because that's a unity. We feel close to something, allowing us to feel close to that love. Mm. We have some varieties of grapes on our farm: muscadine, Coopermong, Concord, and others. That's amazing, Dan. Like most of those, went over my head. I don't know the grape variants' names, unfortunately. Can't stay. Have a great stream. Kartha, I was talking about you a little bit earlier, friend, in context of today's topic. We love you, and it's okay. We'll see you again. I feel like a major part of a successful relationship is being with one another. None of us identify as a carbon copy of our younger selves. We evolve. Having true love for oneself as well as your partner will allow for the changes to feel more natural. Hmm. You know, I've been really trying to implement this thinking of people as trees. Or it sounds weird when I say it like that. Seeing people in the same light that you see a tree. And in that context, change can be a beautiful thing. You know, if a tree has, a big branch broken off, if you will, and then starts to sprout new life from that, it's a big change for a person to stop doing something in their lives, cut something out completely. And then there can be these new little areas of interest, sparking up. And depending on which one they allow to grow, it can grow into a new beautiful branch. And in that way, to see it as a beautiful thing, to encourage that growth, to give that tree water and sunlight and beautiful little critters that can keep it company, so that it can continue to grow in that new direction. To see it in that context, I feel, would be the best way to love one another's change as well. Sometimes those branches might grow into our branches. Maybe that could be a problem for us. We have to change as well. We have to readjust our branches a little bit, maybe give up on worrying about the branches breaking. Am I stretching this analogy? Maybe a little bit. Long time no see, Lane. I got class in like 10 minutes, so I might have to dip soon. I might have caught you, for a little bit, Lane. We love and appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, friend. Oh man, and my stream. Ba-dum-bum, bonked. Maybe I'll read the comments that were left, and then we'll say goodbye. A little bit of a shorter stream today, under hour mark. Let's see. Kira said, I made so many mistakes in choosing people after figuring out I'm poly. I ended up with some pretty awful people, partners and friends alike. I'm wary of everyone, but I fall in love with almost everyone too. It's interesting you say that, Kira, and I don't even know if you're here right now in this moment, but wherever you are, I had this conversation with a friend who's also poly yesterday, and he went through the exact same thing, except he was the one hurting people because he was also getting infatuated with a person and then moving from one person to another person with that infatuation. And that infatuation can be very intoxicating, and we can end up hurting with one another ourselves by allowing someone else to fall into infatuation with us as well. That constant exchange of energy. Let me just say this. Tahoe Dream said, yeah, my challenge in making friends probably is mostly due to my own lack of trying to get out and actually do so. Guess I have to leave the house to meet new people, and the forest isn't the best place to meet people. Huh. I mean, you have a friend in me, dude. I literally typed, this. I was going to say, you have a friend in me. You have a friend in me. You have a friend in me. I love you, friends. Thank you for joining me, for sharing the space with me this moment, this road. We're walking a road, riding a road, building a road. We're roading. And I appreciate you, friends, so much for being a part of this journey. I cannot thank you enough. I cannot pour my heart out to you any more than I'm trying to. Thank you. Just thank you. I love you and I appreciate you. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Goodbye, Kartha. Eighth consecutive streams. It's live. So close. Goes live. Sorry if I'm missing it, Kartha. I think all your messages came through at the same time. I love you, Brother Bear.